Okay, I want to start this by saying that, like, obviously we've all heard the news about Andrew Tate this week. I wanted to jump in on here because I felt like this was a great in. I wanted to talk about Andrew Tate and his little alpha boys. Is that what they call them? Alpha boys? The little alpha boys that follow him. I want to bring up this whole situation that happened because I think it's a great tie into what I feel like I've been really wanting to talk about. So if you don't know, Andrew Tate got arrested this week. He hasn't been convicted, he hasn't been tried, anything like that, but he's got arrested. The pop culture, as we're gonna know it, is that Greta, oh gosh, I need to, hold on, let me figure out how to say her name. I want to say her name correctly. Hold on. How to say Greta Thunberg.
Speechmodification.com presents how to pronounce Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg.
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
So Greta Thunberg, like, basically clapped back so hard that he disclosed his location, and Romanian police found out that he was in Romania, and they were like, boom, gotcha, for and human trafficking. Doesn't get much better than that. It really does not get much better than that. And again, while they have to try him, and while they have to they still have to convict him, see if it's like true, he was arrested. And all his little alpha boys are like, oh no, what are we gonna do? Our man, our hero. But I wanted to talk about that because I felt like it was a really big in of something that I really wanted to be talking about, but I was too late for it. And I felt like this would be a really good tie-in because it all really just comes together. And what I missed about a month ago is the whole Kevin phenomenon. I'm gonna look him up really quick. Ew, oh my gosh, I'm looking at him right now. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about Kevin as well and why I think this relates. If you don't know, Strange Kevin, oh gosh, he makes me so mad, honestly. Okay, so like a month ago, there was this guy named Kevin, and he, I guess, claimed to have like mastered the female gaze. Maybe like at first, like he posted his little thirst trap and went on, but as people started commenting, everyone was like, oh, that's the female gaze. That's, look what he's doing with his eyes. The other boys don't get it, you know, that kind of stuff. When I saw it, look, I'm not one to like, I can't do facial expressions. It's not really my forte. When I saw that, I was just like, sure, you know, I believe you, because he softened his eyes. He understood that he needed to soften his eyes. And I would get TikToks of like guys duetting it. They thought it was a lack of confidence versus like confidence thing, and they weren't like matching it. And so like everyone was just like, no, Kevin knows how to do this. Leave it to Kevin. And so he would do like more videos, you know? For some reason, girls were swooning, so he was still doing it. He would go on Twitch and he would do it there. So Jarvis Johnson, like as soon as like this whole controversy came out, he posted a video talking about Kevin and how he had just been found out that he had a lot of old misogynistic, like disgusting domestic violence type videos on his page. And all it took was a little bit of sliding, you know, to discover it. And he at first was like, how could you even think that was me, huh? How could you even, that's a whole different guy. That's a different color room. How would you guess that was me? Rude, you know? And then it kept happening. And obviously it was him. It uncovered like his tracks or whatever. And very quickly we found out that he was not the epitome of female gaze. And so there were these TikToks of like, oh man, that's another word that we gotta throw away because it's meaningless now. And things like, oh man, now we have to like look for another one. Maybe men are all bad and all this stuff, and like, fair enough, you know? But I feel like when I watched that TikTok of like this creator quote unquote throwing away the phrase female gaze, I kind of felt like we're just gonna give up that quickly. Like, we couldn't think enough as a community of women, you know, to define what the female gaze was enough to solidify it. And so people were just calling out Kevin and being like, oh, look at what he did with his eyes. Oh, they're so like female gazy. But like, we haven't defined it. I think that throwing away the phrase female gaze so quickly before we even came to a conclusion of what that could possibly even mean takes away, as women, our validity. When we don't come to a conclusion together, when we don't agree on something together, then the opposition, our counterparts, are gonna look at us and be like, oh, they can't even figure out what they want. How are we supposed to give them what they want if they're even trying to get what they want? I think that's why I think of this when I think of Andrew Tate, because, you know, he's known for his MLM scheme of raising these alphas, right? They're here to get all of the women, all of the cars, all of their whatever, the Bugattis. He's trying to raise these misogynistic men without giving them any tools to actually get us, because that's not the point. The point is for him to make money. So all of his Tate wannabes are like bowing to this man without getting even any tips, except for to be misogynistic and to take what they own. I think it serves a point to mention that these alpha males are probably not the majority. They're probably the most vocal as how it goes, but they're probably not the majority. And while they're not the majority, that message of misogyny, of ownership, of property leaks in every which way. So the men who don't claim the Andrew Tate route are still, by osmosis, getting these messages of like, oh, well, in this society, this is how we treat women. And then the women in turn are subject to that misogyny, if not believing it themselves. So when we create this idea, the female gaze, when we create this idea of softness and try to explain it in terms of like ugly hot and hot ugly, and try to explain that like, no, it's not about the muscles, like we like Henry Cavill as the Witcher and not as Superman. All these things are so like subjective. No one really can quite agree on what the female gaze is. And so it takes away our validity and our reliability on, no, we want to be treated like this, because these men who are constantly being poured with misogyny in one ear and then in the other ear hear us bickering about what it actually is that we want. These guys are like, what even is there then? Make up your mind. Maybe these guys were right all along because they can't figure it out. Throwing away the term female gaze actually does us a disservice. If we do throw away the term female gaze, it silences us women even more than we are already. By discarding the phrase, it takes away the symbolism. And the symbolism is women want what women want. We don't want what men expect us to want. We want what we want. And this is what we see. And this is what we treasure or notice when we see it. So I've been thinking about what the female gaze is. I've been evaluating it based off of like what different people say, and I myself am not really like one to notice that kind of thing, but based off of my feministic research, I'll call it, one piece of art that is returned to over and over and over and over and over again when we talk about the female gaze is Pride and Prejudice. If you're familiar, the hand is like the iconic, like that's the female gaze. It's not even looking at his face, and you look at his hand and automatically a woman's like, yeah, that's it. I saw the movie once, like years ago, but I read a lot about it and I can't explain that. But Pride and Prejudice is what a lot of women agree on when talking about the female gaze. I find that interesting because Pride and Prejudice is like the original enemies to lovers, okay? Like if we want to break it down bare bones, okay? Enemies to lovers. These people like clearly have chemistry, but they're like Pride and Prejudice, you know, that's the whole point. I heard something interesting by a creator a long time ago, and don't remember who it was. It was just on TikTok, like maybe even a couple years ago. But I find it important to this conversation now. People love enemies to lovers because in order to be an enemy, in order to be a rival, the other person has to believe that you're on their level. For example, I am in the running for a promotion, and this guy, he's also in running for the promotion, and I hate this guy. I'm so like, ugh, he just fires me up, you know, like why are we like going after the same thing? I want this. I don't know if he wants this. I want this. It's mine. I deserve it. But if he doesn't see me as a threat or on his wavelength, on his level, he's not even going to be thinking about me. He has so many other things on his mind to be concerned about. And so that's not an enemies to lovers. That's what we deal with every day, where a man just naturally has the upper hand. But in an enemies to lovers, the rivalry is reciprocated, and there's always an underlying level of respect. And so in Pride and Prejudice, when he comes back in the rain and he's drenched and like they're having that argument and she like doesn't accept him, I really hope that that's how this movie goes, because oh my gosh. But like in that middle scene where they're in the rain and he like says like, gee, I'm falling I'm falling in love with you, and she's just like, what? You're out of your mind, you gotta get out of here. But like you see it in his eyes, you know, like that right there, when you see it in his eyes and he like cherishes her and respects her wishes and says, I will come back and I will be better, and then he does. Here's what it is. It's not the look, it's the symbolism of the look. It's the context around the look. Freaking Kevin, God, he just makes me so angry every time I think about him. But freaking Kevin, he had the look, right? He had the stupid eyes that just made girls swoon, I guess. But I think we were lacking the context, because once we found the context, all of us were like, ugh. We were just like, ugh, disgusting, absolutely atrocious, no thank you, absolutely, get out of here. And then we're back to square one of what is the female gaze. What we're doing is we're conflating two things. We're conflating the female gaze with attraction. And that's why men are so confused by it, is because the male gaze is attraction. But I think to us women, the female gaze does not equate to attraction. It's two separate things, because attraction is like, yes, I find you attractive. You know, I can see a vibe going on. But the female gaze reflects more so an energy of, you know, you have bewitched me. I'm yours for the taking. Hozier is the epitome of female gaze solely for his words, the context, right? You look at that man, of course, he's like I think he's 6'4" or something. Oh my gosh. But like, you know, he's a lanky guy. Doesn't look like Chris Evans or Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt or Chris Pine. I had to finish the joke. He doesn't look like those guys, but you put some headphones in and oh my God, you're swept away. You're just done. That's the female gaze. It's to be wanted for your person. It's to be respected on a level that isn't like, I'm trying to think of like, oh my gosh, like blurred lines. Oh my gosh, where it's like, I know you want it and I want it or whatever. I'm just trying to think of a song where like women are so objectified, but instead it's almost like he objectifies himself and you accept him anyway. It's really interesting. And I wasn't prepared to bring this up. You know, this is just me talking. I guess if you think about, I mean, let's talk about his most like famous song. His first famous song, I guess, was Take Me to Church, you know? And he's talking about like what they do known as this biggest sin, but he wants to worship you anyway. Or hold on, let me look up Hozier songs for clarity. Ew, I just saw his face again. Okay, Hozier songs. Oh, okay, work song, bro. Oh my gosh. Okay, this song is one of the sweetest songs on the planet, and I feel like it defines the female gaze, because it says, when my time comes around, lay me gently in the cold, dark earth. No grave could hold my body down. I'll crawl home to her. Oh. 4 lines. 4 lines and I'm done. You know, I'm done. That's moving heaven and earth just to be with the one you love, right? My baby never fret none about what my hands and my body done. If the Lord don't forgive me, I'd still have my baby and my babe would have me. And I'm sure there's like other ones that are really good, but oh my gosh. If the Lord don't forgive me, I'd still have my baby and my babe would have me. That's not even my favorite part of the song, but I think that just fits so well to like what we're talking about. We'll do movement. Hozier, movement. When you move, I'll put to mind all that I want to be. When you move, I can never define all that you are to me. Okay, and then this one too. This one's so good. When you move, I can recall something that's gone from me. When you move, honey, I'm put in awe of something so flawed and free. Obviously, this is just like a tangent, but I think it still serves the purpose of coming closer to defining the female gaze, if that makes sense. Female gaze isn't looks, it's separate from look. It's the context, it's the emotion that the man is willing to convey through looks, if that makes sense. And so I don't think that completely terminating the phrase female gaze is something that we should even be considering. I don't want to say that Kevin was like a fluke or anything, because it's probably gonna become this like thing of like, oh man, here we have another one, a guy who like thinks he's got the key, but then we uncover like his dirty past again, you know? I think we're missing the point of the female gaze. You can be attracted to somebody. I think that the female gaze just puts context to what we desire, and to have somebody want to do to move mountains for us like we know that we want to do for them. And I think for guys, that's the difference. And that's kind of how I am tying this up to the Andrew Tate phenomenon. Right now, we're in this day and age where as much as we try to convey what we want, which is respect, which is somebody who's loving and willing to share the load with us instead of being someone's mother, I think that we're in this time where these alpha males are doing a lot of objectifying. And I want to stress like objectifying. I always used to like conflate that with sexualizing, but making us appear as though we are objectifying. And so to the male gaze, they expect us to look at things the same way. That's the easy part. Understanding the male gaze is easy because they expect that we want, you know, that Dorito bod. Oh man. And so when these guys are like so confused about the big boy trend going on TikTok, guys can't even fathom women being into big men because it doesn't adhere to the standards that they have created for themselves. Because it's not about looks. It is about looks. There's attraction there, but that's what we're attracted to. We like a big man, and I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm saying that standard that they've put on themselves is creating a cognitive dissonance between what they think they know and then what they're seeing, and they don't understand it. So anyway, I just wanted to bring like that idea up because with Andrew Tate finally getting arrested for his, oh my gosh, he's so horrible. He's so horrible. He's horrible. Gosh, and my dad didn't even know who he was. Basically, I just like was starting to see like, you know, a through line here of something that I really wanted to talk about based off of this crazy thing that I'm really hoping is the beginning of an end of an era. And I've been feeling it in the air. Like a lot of people have talked about how Mercury in retrograde started 2 days ago, and what an absolute definitive moment of what Mercury in retrograde means. To absolutely be annihilated through communication. And because you flaunted it, because you were bragging, and because you knew what you were doing, and then as soon as Greta snapped back, you had to respond, and now you're arrested. That is so Mercury. So yeah, just, you know, impeccable. it's impeccable. It's beautiful, honestly. And seriously, like I really feel like this is a win. And while there are still ugly things happen, and while people are still struggling in every which way that we can struggle, I think that this is a win. And I think that without their leader, we might soon forget. I hope so badly that we do, because I'm just so sick of, it's like radical ideas, you know? It's just so absurdist and incel forming and all those trigger words, you know? It's just like we're coming into the new year. Can we just move forward for a moment? So yeah, that's how I feel. I don't know. Quite long, and I didn't think I was going to be able to fill this, honestly. So thanks for listening to me ramble. Anyway, I'm gonna do what I came here to do and give a little message really quick, because I really want to see what we can work on. Oh, that was so bad. Okay. 3 of Pentacles reversed. 3 of Pentacles reversed says taking the easy way out. This is an indication of, if you're really gonna be slacking this new year, don't even think about it, okay? This 2023, it's in the air, dude. I'm not even kidding. I can't even explain what I've been feeling in the lead up to like this December, but there's something in the air, and we're all changing. I can feel it in my bones. My friends can feel it in their bones. There's a change happening. We already started on our little accountability adventure. Like I send pictures to my friends and they respond back to me like their little thing. I'm trying to get my friend to vape. I'm looking at you. Did I say get my friend to vape? Oh my gosh, I'm not. I'm trying to get her to quit. God, yeah, I'm crazy. No, I'm trying to get her to quit. That's insane. And she's trying to make me go to bed at a decent time. And so far, we're both not doing great at it, but we're trying, okay? So I think really what it's saying is just like, put in the actual work needed. Don't take shortcuts. This is whatever it is that you're gonna be working on, it requires 100% of your attention, and you need to do it correctly the first time. And that's a message for me too, but I really feel like this is like 2023 is, as the collective, like this is a go get them year. You guys start putting into motion correctly what it is that you want, it's gonna be your year. Like, I haven't felt this way in years, like the want to do in so long, which is what 3 of Pentacles upright is. It's doing, like the physicality of doing in a nutshell. And it being reversed is just a reminder, like, don't cut corners because you're gonna regret it. Okay, that's my reading. And yeah, that's all I have to say. See you next time.